Hey, all, I thought I needed to do an episode of what happened over the weekend. So, I did a gig in Essex, calm gig, usual material, until I hit about 12 minutes. Now, I ran out of new material, being quite new. I had another 3 minutes still on stage. I tried some new stuff. It went very well. Audience loved it. Big round of applause at the end. Two comedians who I have the utmost respect for said it's the best I've ever done. I've come a long way, filled me with joy. And after my set, a comedian said that I'd killed the room with my jokes, which was weird, as I had a better response than the first comedian. But that dude, that's his opinion. That's his opinion. But didn't think anything of it, as jokes are opinions, and the crowd is the judge. They like it, they laugh. If they don't, then it ain't funny. I'll always take warranted advice though from comedians I respect. So Sunday, I wake up to there's about 8, 9 people said to me this. Now, right, let's diagnose this. Uh, as I certainly don't want my name tarnished and people think I'm out here being a prick, I would have rather spoken about this matter in private, but for some reason I can't reach out to him because of being blocked. So, I can't discuss this privately like a gentleman would. So I think, I've got a chance to defend myself here. Now, to call someone a racist and to not respect other religions, that's quite a broad statement, without any form of evidence. And to blast my name and my pod everywhere, frankly, dude, it's upsetting and disgusting, man. Like, first time in 33 years, I've ever been, I'm 33 years old, by the way, I wasn't a racist when I was one. 33 years, I've been called that. So, I took upon reflection to evaluate everything, and I stand by my opinion on this. I did nothing wrong. So now, he said the previous act before me in his lovely comment here was an immigrant. I mean, I wasn't aware of this, guys. I don't notice that crap. But this post seems to come across as more clickbait for exposure, for him to show, look how brilliant I am. The fact that he wanted to quote Adam Bloom is upsetting, as he's someone who's got the most highest respect for. An attempt to chuck his name alongside it as well is silly, because dude's literally a comedy genius. But what upsets me more is that I'll tell the jokes in a bit. Is that I'll tell it, and then you can formulate your own opinion. Now, I tell you, this is an important bit to consider here. I'm a new comedian. Okay, I'll be going 4 months. I work hard. I'm trying to grind, just like everyone else. I feel like I'm making good progress, but dude, I'm a no one. Okay, I'm a no one. I do a podcast trying to help new comedians learn and learn myself. Now, I'm not saying I made mistakes or made mistakes. I have made mistakes, but if I did, the fact a more experienced comedian over 4 years felt the need to expose me publicly, tarnish me, because he was shaken by the experience. I mean, look, he states he confronts me, but then still wishes to go publicly about it. Now, to me, that's not a good ambassador of the industry, and not how to lead by example. Now, I would question why someone would book him again if they could publicly slate them as well. Once again, freedom of speech. Everyone has the right to say whatever they want. But also, to say I'm a problematic person, dude. I mean, of course I am. I started comedy at the age of 33. Most comedians start from a dark place. Because I'm fighting my own demons, I suffer from mental health, which, I speak about frequently on the pod, the importance of mental health. And I even did an episode about men's mental health in comedy. So, he's aware of this, still wanted to expose me in what aid of maybe further enhance my mental health through public embarrassment. But it doesn't come across like he's trying to help someone. It looks like he's trying to publicly shame me. And he could have left me out, could have left my name out, could have left my podcast out. But he decides to chuck it all in and not give me a chance to defend myself. So, the question is, I was quite interested, and I've mentioned this nearly every single episode on my pod, is the subject of punching down. Now, I think punching down, the opinion has changed on it, and all of a sudden it now means someone doesn't have the same opinion of you, and that's now what punching down is. It's a thrown around phrase. Hey, buddy, you can't tell that joke. I don't like it. I mean, ultimately, the audience will tell you what they like and don't like. Now, I don't see making jokes about anything. I make them about as punching down, and I'll happily defend that. But if a guy thinks that is punching down, then they're saying, and that is the demographic that needs help. So if he's saying I'm a racist and I'm punching down at Muslims. He's the one saying Muslims need help. But I don't know. Oh, you do the spin on that one, to be honest. So, the joke. I've done it a million times over on the pod. The Muslim joke. It's a misdirection comedy joke that goes, I had a Muslim girlfriend, true story. If I got caught behind closed doors for her, I'd have been arrested or forced to marry her. So I was slept with her with the door open. Nice easy joke, nice easy misdirection. Don't see the racism there. The joke I did about Dover is about a boat turning up, magic lamp on the floor, illegal immigrant goes up to it, makes 3 wishes, got everything. I wish I got everything for free, never had to work again, everyone had to accept and tolerate my religion. Boom, happens. Turns out he didn't use the lamp, he just turned up at Britain. Now, that's a joke, it's a funny joke to say. I'm against migrants, weird, but, am I against illegal immigration? I think 1,000,000%, I don't know who would challenge that one. But to say I'm against migrants is absolutely laughable. Also I went on against Starmer and the ID thing. The fact that, that one also, in fact, I told that joke to many Muslim comedians in the comedy circuit who I love. They loved it. They thought it was a brilliant joke. But he didn't like it, so he now decides, I'm going to expose him for it. Dude, just make it make sense, man. Like, look, that's my 2 cents. I gig for fun. I enjoy it. I've made some cracking mates along the way. From the whole bloody rainbow, everything like that. I've made friends with everyone. And if anyone does ever think that of me, dude, come talk to me. Look, how can someone learn if you're going to try and publicly embarrass them? Yeah, tell me it, and then we can move on from there. I can either take your advice or not take your advice. That's my decision. Okay, but as I said, I made some great friends, and it's been brilliant. But the other little shocking thing about this, guys, is that people in the comment section have jumped on the bandwagon without the knowledge and the facts. So, who formulate your own opinions, guys. Like, look, I'll end it with this. I'm a true believer of freedom of speech. True believer. You can say whatever you want, but you also need to respect the outcome from your statements. I understand that. He had every right to slam me off. Is this right? It's my right to respond, to be honest. And, that's what I said, but, trying to cancel someone who's been doing it for 4 months, trying to come across as an ambassador, but you'll publicly slate someone for it. I mean, dude, that doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't sit well with me. And once again, you guys can formulate your own opinions. Guys, much love. And also, guys, thank you ever so much for watching the podcast. I mean, it's really blown up over the last couple of weeks. Thank you everyone for watching, subscribing. Like, dudes, you all know I'm new at this. I've never hid that. I'm new at this. I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. And, I always accept advice. But what you don't need to do is publicly criticise someone and their pod just because they said a joke you didn't like, even though the audience loved it. But that's it. Guys, much love. Peace. Bye.